this was one of the first FGC majors or FGC like offline event that was kind of big to happen in a while, right? And it's weird seeing how much hype was behind the event for the watchers. Hey, what's up, Mean Buffalo? But also how much discourse, I guess is the word we're looking for, right? How much discourse is around it. Because players along the lines of people like Punk and Punk and a few other players, I think it's mainly the Street Fighter players, are actually saying that it feels better to play Street Fighter V online on PC than it does offline on PS4. And logistically, there's probably a few reasons for that we'll get into, right? But I think the major thing is, it's weird seeing the FGC want to finally take a step in the direction that it dreaded so much when COVID started. When COVID started, everyone was like, oh no, the FGC is dead. It's over for us. Fuck, online's gonna suck. We're done. The FGC's dead. We can't recover from this, right? And then there was tons of sick ass free, and some paid entry, but mostly free online tournaments, which really helped bolster the community, right? There was a lot of players who we had never heard of in Soul Calibur 6. I'll use my community as an example. We had never heard of really in Soul Calibur 6 until all the online events started happening. A few of those when what just happened recently? Summer Jam happened. Maybe 2 months ago, maybe a month ago. So it was like Summer Jam and the Pinnacle, right? So Summer Jam happened, and a lot of those online players actually did really well, like right outside of top 8, 13th, 9th, 17th. That's some good shit for those players who were not at all established. Hey, what's up, everyone? Not at all established off of their respective online platform, whether that be PS4 or PC. There wasn't too many. There's not too many Xbox players, right? At least not that go to events, right? I can name like Amy Lionheart and Decree, and that's like it. Anyways, I digress. So a lot of players are saying that games actually feel better straight up on PC online than they do PS4 online or PS4 offline. And there's a few reasons for that. One of which, let's just name the reasons, because they kind of make a lot of sense. In my experience, I can't say that it's been that simple, but consoles overheating, console versions being less optimized, worse frame rates on monitors, right? And just inferior hardware in general. Sure, fighting games are supposed to run at 60 frames per second native, right? It's like very normal for a fighting game to run at 60 frames per second. That's usually what they cap at. But if you guys didn't know, they can go below that and slightly above that. I've seen like up to 61, 62 on a regular basis on my PC. I've seen all the way down to like 58, right? But it is possible if a computer doesn't run the game properly, runs it poorly, for a computer to get all the way down to like 30 FPS, 15 FPS, 20 FPS. And a console that's maybe been on all day, being used all day, has like 18 Bluetooth devices connected to it because all you motherfuckers play on pad, to start having stability issues when it comes to frame rate. Now, the game will try its best to use a dynamic resolution scaler to fix that, but it can only do so much if you have a PS4 that's been running console fighting games for 4 years, you know, running for 8 hours, 10 hours a day for pools and for top 32 or top 8, whatever that may be, right? Specifically, Street Fighter and PS5 Guilty Gear Strive, specifically. Those are the games that people complain the most about. Guilty Gear Strive on PS5 before the updates had 7 frames or 6 frames of native input delay, while the PC version only has 1 frame. 1 frame. And maybe it's closer to 2. It's 1 closer to 2 frames of input delay compared to 5 on the newest generation of console. PS5 is actually worse, or was worse, than PS4 Guilty Gear Strive. PS4 Guilty Gear Strive was about 3 to 4 frames of delay compared to Strive's 5 frames on PS5. So it was the worst of the versions of the game. So literally having to play on that for tournament settings, possibly, when you could play on PC online from the comfort of your own home, still make money, feels bad. Like logistically, sitting at home, playing video games, wearing sweats, maybe not even wearing a shirt, right? Wearing sweat, you're relaxing, you're just chillaxing at home. Maybe you have your stream open, maybe you're streaming, you're gaming. Maybe you're watching the stream on your second monitor and gaming. You know, you got your stick plugged in, you got your pad plugged in. You're just you're in your zone. You're in your comfort zone at home. Hey, what's up, Creeper? I'm also lurking. It's a different feeling than going to a major, right? You're not seeing your friends. You're not like around a convention style event. You're not having the offline pressures of a flashing light in your face, and that flashing light maybe taking up half the screen with glare, and everyone watching you, and there's a different sort of pressure and feeling to offline events. That, I mean, some players are literally actually just not prepared for. Some players actually get shook. Playing Moji for you, brother. I hope you're happy making me suffer. I said a flank. Is Moji a flank? Oh, Moji is a flank. Let's do it. Hell yeah. That's that shit I like to see. Suffer, bitch. Don't lie. You're not suffering when you're playing Moji. How can you suffer as Moji? How can you suffer a win? Explain to me that. Anyways, right? So, but the things that we miss from offline, right, are finally coming back. Hanging out with your friends at events. The hypeness of an offline event, that sick accolade of a top 8 offline, right? All that stuff, it's stuff that people wanted back forever now, right? But with the influx of players that play offline, that play online, and are doing really well online, a lot of them will just never really take the time to go to a bunch of majors. They're not going to travel every weekend, every other weekend, once a month for fighting game tournaments. There's really no reason for them to do so. They're getting paid out greatly by things like Matcherino and community sponsored pots and pot bonuses, even from events themselves, right? Wednesday Night Fights is a perfectly good example of a free to enter event that runs solely off Matcherino every single week that I commentated for Soul Calibur 6. If you come watch me, just watch my commentary, watch some sick ass Caliber and listen to my beautiful voice on the microphone, you know what I'm saying? Things like that make it a lot harder for people to want to go. Okay, my cat just stepped on my stick. Make it a lot harder for people to want to go to events, right? And that even considers locals, right? Let me put this in perspective. I live really close to my local, right? I live really close to my local. I spit in distance, or I drive 5 minutes on the freeway and I'm at my local. Okay? It's that easy for me. For others, maybe the locals is an hour away, and that's considered close to a lot of people. Maybe their locals is 30 minutes away. That's how some people here in town are. They live on the other side of town. I live right by the water. I'm 20 minutes from the water. They are 40 minutes, 30 minutes from the water. I'm not even 20 minutes. I'm not even, right? So when you think about it like that, with the cost of venue fee, $10. Some places are $5. Or if you're me and there's no locals, yeah. See, another perfect example. But let's start with like the more common thing, right? I live 15 minutes from a local. Some people live 30 minutes, 40 minutes from locals. No big deal, right? But they pay that. Can you get off my stick, Remy? They pay that venue fee of $10. Then you're already at the venue. You're kind of hungry. You need food. Pay the venue food. Pay for venue food. That's another $7-8, right? Maybe it's 10, right? $20. Oh yeah, you want to enter this event? $5. Boom. You want to enter this event too? Boom. $5. It's $30. Maybe, right? $30 minimum. Let's say $20 minimum. Then you gotta drive further. So you gotta account for gas. $15 for gas. Plus that $10. Plus that $5. Plus that food. Right? That's a lot of money. When instead you could sit at your sick. You could sit in your sick gamer chair on your couch. You can pick up your stick. Right? You can pick up your stick. You pick up your pad. Right? You can plug that shit into your PS4 or your PC. Specifically, probably PC. Because that's what everyone's saying is better. Right? Plug that shit into your PC. Get gaming. Order some Uber Eats. Have the stream open on the other side. Talking shit to the stream chat. Fucking stream monster, while you're mid matches or in between matches, You can do all that. And you save so much more money. The only thing you're not getting is the socialization aspect. Unless you're like me and are totally cool with socializing with everyone via keyboard and mouse. Because I'm cool with that. I'm totally down for that. I could probably do that for my entire life. I don't need to see outside ever. I don't. But I understand that not everyone's like that, So. And worst come to worst, you don't even have a local. Right? So if we're like only down for offline only, if we're trying to completely eradicate online play again or online tournaments again, we try to go back to mainly offline events and you don't have a local, every time you want to go to an event, you're shelling out $60, $70, right? Offline discussion, then Duel Links, offline discussion, then Soul Calibur 6. I haven't played Duel Links in a week or so. I should probably find some time for Duel Links this week. Maybe Thursday. Yeah. This Tatsunoko versus Capcom OST is really hitting. It really hits different when you're not playing the game. It's still a good soundtrack. Right, so say you don't have a locals at all. Say you have to go to an event, like a big event, a big kind of offline event, to even get some sort of offline, right? That means you're looking at like $60 to $70 just for the venue fee most of the time. Sometimes it's as low as $50, $40 if you're like early bird special, right? Like myself, whenever I try to go to events, I try to get that early bird price because I'm a poor motherfucker, all right? So looking at it like that, you're paying $10 entry, $40 to $70 venue, and say you want to enter more than one event, right? They're into two things. I'm pretty good at Soul Calibur, but you know, I'm also really digging Melty Blood. Not me personally, but just in general, I'm really digging Melty Blood. Or oh yeah, dude, Tekken's tight. They're gonna have Virtual Fighter 2 though. I should just play both. $20 on top, right? $90 plus your hotel, plus food, plus any Ubers you take. Offline fighting games, even though they are that convention style thing that are really wholesome, they're fun to be at, they're like a trip that you plan for, right? There's nothing wrong with them inherently. I don't think that FGC should ever go the way of full offline events. I mean, full online events, but I also like the fact that we have online. We need to understand that the only way that the FGC is going to move forward now is for all these games that have godlike netcode, and any games that come out need to have godlike netcode, run online events. And then we have offline majors. I'm not saying to replace locals. I'm not saying to replace, offline majors. I'm not saying any of that. But they are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist. Online and offline can coexist. The bigger deal about offline and online coexisting, yeah, Duel Links has good netcode. I've had people lag out on me before, but you get the win, so I mean, a win's a win. No problem. The bigger deal is we're still using consoles, right? And as I stated, there are problems with consoles, right? All these Bluetooth devices being reconnected and disconnected over and over can cause frame rate issues. The consoles being on for 8 to 12 hours a day, possibly more frame rate issues. The game being less optimized for console, frame rate issues. All of these things compile and make a worse experience on console, even offline a lot of the time. It's not all the time. There are a lot of games that are perfectly serviceable on console. Uni is a perfect example. Uni is no different on console than it is on PC. The only thing that is different is that you can't use Parsec on console. So when you got to play online, you got to deal with PS4 shit online, which is no bueno, right? Because it throttles your connection. That's what PS4 does. It's just how PS4 works. Sorry. Oops. Sony, make your consoles better, right? But in the sense of games that have good netcode and have good matchmaking, good netcode and good optimization, I see no reason why those can't be played in a PC offline setting. The only problem is, once again, logistically. A console, this little box that I have right here, $300, $400, right? Say you get a PS5, $600. Gaming computers are harder than ever to get a hold of, especially high-end ones that will not give you any issues running fighting games. I'm not even talking about trying to run a fighting game in 4K. I'm talking about trying to run a fighting game at 1080p or 1440p on like a 1ms monitor with like 140 hertz, right? Or 244 hertz. I think it's 75, 140, 160, 175. I don't know the hertz on monitors over my fucking head, right? High refresh rate monitor, low millisecond, low response time, or fast response time, whatever you want to call it. Fast response time, high refresh rate. That's something that is gonna really help in the long run. And also getting off of console. People have mentioned even just using Steam Decks, right? But logistically, there's another issue. It is PC hardware of some kind. Go look at the price of a Steam Deck. Good luck getting enough Steam Decks to run a major. Even to run a regional, good luck getting enough Steam Decks, right? Yeah, it's a problem. PC components are hard to come by, and that's why the FGC has always used PS4s and Xbox 360s, Xbox Ones. That's why the FGC has always done that. People look out, they look out to, and go look at the shooters. They go look at the MOBAs, right? And they're like, oh, they're using computers, why can't we? because they've already had that established. It's something that they dipped their feet into a long time ago because that is how they've always done it, and it's always worked for them. It's a little bit harder with PCs. There's controller issues, right? There's some controllers that don't work properly on PS4. I mean, on PCs, but they work properly on PS4 and Xbox One, right? You can buy a converter. Maybe that'll help. Sure, right? Why are all these songs such different volumes? Such different volumes. Controllers are definitely the #1 issue with PC fighting games offline. Yeah, they're a huge issue. And I think the #1 issue with PC fighting games offline is getting a hold of enough PCs to make a PC fighting game offline tournament work. That's the first issue. The second one is controllers. Absolutely. The number of input devices that work on console with some converter, fucking exponential. The number of controllers that work on PC, you had some problems with your DualSense. Not getting a hold of enough PCs is definitely way less of an issue. Getting a hold of enough PCs at a price that will not raise venue and entry fees is definitely it. They already have an infrastructure for how they rent out consoles, right? They use like Controller Chaos. They use there's a few different console renting services that majors use, right? Or they're like some of the majors like CEO that have already had a large number of consoles just sitting around. It's an issue, but not an overcomable one. Hey, if you want to pay $120 venue fee and $20 entry fee for all the games because they have to buy 900 or 500 fucking $2,000, $3,000 gaming computers, sure, you're right. It's not an issue. That is still essentially an issue. It's not the most pressing. The most pressing is probably controllers. It's an issue, but not an overcomable one. Controllers are not. Assuming PCs are free, controllers seems to be, yeah, controllers are the, like, if you take control PC cost out of, hey, what's up, Dustings? If you take PC cost completely out of the equation and say, we found a simple solution, you guys should buy all these sick HP Pavilion pre-built PCs like the one that I use, right? I've changed a few things to make it a little better. But you guys could use these sick ass HP Pavilion gaming PCs and they're like $600. You buy fucking 500 of these, maybe they don't have to raise venue fee because that's like the same amount as a PS5. No problem, right? Makes total sense. But controllers are still an issue. Making sure that the games run optimized on PC, another issue. But that's on the dev side. That's not really up to us. Devs really need to get on making sure that they have good netcode, working rollback netcode, because I don't want no fucking clog desyncing issues. I don't care what you guys say. Melty. Oh, hello. Okay. Thanks, Kat. Melty and Nick All-Stars Brawl, for me, have clock syncing issues. I get one-sided rollback. Some others have also reported one-sided rollbacks. And all you dumb fucks out there saying, when the devs programs, what are the dev programs to make controllers work? It's not always that simple. Like, there's just like weird intricacies with types of controllers, types of, PCBs. There's so much to account for when it comes to that. Consoles, I don't know how they've done it so well. The same goes for controller devs though. It's on them to fix the controller issues with PC. I guess you're right. So logistically, there is problems with using PC, but if people are going to complain that PS4 offline feels worse than PC online, then we should fix those issues, right? If we want to have the best offline experience that we can, because right now, if it's going to be a worse experience, like Punk said it right. Punk said it best. He said, I know what I'm doing wrong on PS4, but I don't even feel like fixing it because it feels like I'm playing in molasses and it's dog shit. And a lot of people didn't understand. They were like, why is Punk complaining? Like, Punk's always complaining, oh, I bet he fucking lost, right? No, he got first at Pinnacle. He beat Justin Wong. Justin Wong got second at Street Fighter 5 at Pinnacle. And Punk was right outside of top 8. He got 9th or 13th. He did great. He did good. But he complains about things a lot of times when they're relevant, when they matter. I think that if the worst thing you can do is play on PS4 offline, then why are we doing it? If the worst offline experience is console offline, why are we still doing it? You don't see Call of Duty World League running on PS4s, right? You don't see Smite, perfectly working game on console. It actually runs just fine on console compared to PC. You can get higher frame rates on PC though, right? You don't see that running on console for their major events. It's running on PC. There is a solution that can be found, and it needs to be, right? So that these two things can coincide without this shitty discourse about, oh, I could just stay home in my pajamas and play my sick fighting games and give food, Uber eat it to me, and also meme and chat at the same time because I'm a tournament god. You know, like PS4 offline is fine. Having inherent input delay is perfectly fine as long as it's normalized. Not if you've gotten used to playing on PC online, and PC online is specifically better, right? If PC offline is online is so much better, right? I don't know. That's true. But why are you going to lower the bar for competition? That is silly. When they build the computers for Worlds, for TI, for the International, which is Dota, or for League of Legends, it is 100% lowering the bar. That is exactly what it's doing. It is lowering the bar because you are reducing the amount of time that competitors have to react to things, and you are adding more potential frame drops. It is 100% lowering. You do not see Call of Duty World League playing on 60 FPS, 60 Hz monitors. They don't fucking do that. They play on high refresh rate monitors with high refresh rate because it enhances the competition. If console cannot handle high refresh rate monitors, ding ding ding, it can't, and it can't have the lowest input lag possible, which it can't, ding ding ding, then we need to keep up with the competition and make sure that we're using the things that are going to enhance the level of play. Do not hold back. That was like the whole reason. Apologies. That was the whole reason why people were like, oh no, we can't have online tournaments. Dude, bro, the netcode is so bad it feels like molasses. This is not real. This is not real Guilty Gear, or this is not real Soul Calibur, or this is not real Street Fighter 5, right? That is a statement, that is a sentiment that has been echoed during the online era before we got better netcode for a lot of these fighting games, before Parsec started being used. That is something that was mentioned constantly. So now you're saying that because it's offline PS4, which is okay, it's okay. Offline PS4 was the standard. It's the standard. It's the standard. Just because it's the standard doesn't mean it shouldn't change. If there's something better, there's nothing wrong with moving on to that thing that is something better. I personally don't care. I'm not a reaction-based player. It doesn't really hurt me at all. I'm a reads-based player. I'm just gonna mash 4-4K. If you did alone, I'm gonna fucking auto GI and kill you. No problem. You know, it doesn't affect me. I do not react to shit. But at the highest level of competition, it affects a lot. It's not just people who are salty complaining. It is actual legitimate grievances from players that we should listen to because they've been doing this a long time. Punk has been on the top of Street Fighter V since season 2. How's today going? Today's going pretty well. There's nothing better than PS4 right now. PC offline is way worse due to being less workable offline, and it's not a fixable issue. Yeah, that's the only thing that I'm saying. Once that's solved, then PC offline is better. Most people even believe that PC online is better than PS4 off. It's a weird kind of hot take that I don't agree with, but there's a lot of people in the community saying it. It's a huge discourse that apparently we should just be playing PC online and PC offline. They're just so much better than console. Console feels like molasses. It's dog shit, frame rate issues, frame drops, yada yada, blah 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 blah. It's not a solvable issue unless PCs change to largely proprietary hardware. Yeah. Build gaming PCs that function for the things that you need them to. Like, just like the other esports do. Build the PCs that work with the things that you need them to. Regulate controllers. Regulate the types of boards that can be in controllers, right? Regulate the types of joysticks or buttons or whatever need be, right? I think it's usually just the board. You just need to regulate the boards that can be controllers. Hey, standard PS4 controllers work. You can use standard PS4 controller. Standard PS3 controllers work. You can use PS3 controller. Standard Xbox 360 and Xbox One controllers work. You can use those. Switch controllers work. Cool, you can use those. PS2, you might have a problem with the PS2 controller. You are not allowed to use PS2 controllers at this tournament. Oh, you play on game controller? We don't have any game adapters. You are not allowed to play on game controller at this tournament. which is another reason why people don't really want to go back to offline, right? They've already used all these things that they're so used to, right? And they don't want them to be removed from competitive play, right? The cross up is not getting banned by any stretch. There's no, if you want to ban the cross up, ban the hitbox. Yes, PS4 Pro has the lowest lag among all types of console strive. Console strive. It has 2 to 3, while PC has 1 to 2. The PC is still slightly better. 2 to 1 frame like means like very, right? So if they moved everything to PS4 Pros and they weren't having any issues, they're not dropping frames because of overheating issues. Consoles are inherently like they're better pieces of tech for being slimline, but they're worse pieces of tech for being reliable. Consoles are significantly less reliable than PCs if a PC is built right. Consoles are becoming more and more PC-like, and I can imagine consoles just disappearing by evolution in the next few generations. I don't think so. I don't think consoles will ever disappear. Consoles will never disappear. Because when you think about it, what did Steam just say they're releasing? The Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is supposed to be a console-like PC experience. Steam essentially just released a console. Consoles are not going anywhere because it's a whole new market of gamers that you can appeal to. It's a whole new market of gamers that you can appeal to that normally you wouldn't be able to, right? So that's why I understand that so many people play on console, that console's standard, the norm, the standard. I'm not upset about any of those. But just make sure that the console experience is going to be as good as the PC experience. That's something that needs to be worked on. Yeah, but they're already using a lot of the same actual hardware. No, they're not. Anything that has an APU is not using the same hardware as a fucking computer. Just because it has a CPU in it and RAM does not mean, like, that's like saying my phone is a computer. It is, it's a very small computer, but this is not a standard computer. It has an APU so that I can have graphics. It has RAM. It has pretty high clock speed because I have an S20. Like, I don't have a piece of shit phone, but this is not a computer. This is not, that's Twitch, yeah. This is not a computer. No. Might just be a $600 pre-built. Well, to be fair, the PS5 is already like $600. But it has a lot of better things in it. I think that there's no reason for them to ever charge more than like $1,000 for a console. What they do with consoles, which is so interesting, right? We're a little off topic here, but that's fine. I just like talking to you guys. What they do with consoles is they actually charge less just to get you in the door. So you start buying games off the store and you start buying accessories and you buy PS Plus and you buy memberships for games that Sony makes money off of, right? That is how they definitely take a loss on console every generation. PS4 generation, they might not have taken as much of a loss because it wasn't exceptional hardware. Like the generational leap from PS4 base to end of line PS3 was not huge. It wasn't very big. The generational leap between PS5 to PS4 is very fucking massive. And they had to because of how much PC gaming has advanced. But they couldn't charge $1,000 or $1,200, which is roughly what, if you put together something with roughly the same spec as a PC of the PS5's strength, right? If you put together something like that, it costs you like 12. Why are you guys playing WWE here? If you put together something like that, it would cost you about $1,200 to $1,500. Maybe even a little more, close to $1,700. But they can't feasibly charge you for that because you're not gonna buy a PS5 at that point. You're gonna go build your own fucking gaming PC. So they charge you less to get you in the door, and hopefully along this console cycle of 7 to 8 years, you have PS Plus the whole time. That's $10 a month times 12 months. That's $120 times 7. 12 times 7 is, I'm bad at math here. Somebody please help. 74. 84. I was close. Thanks. 84. So 84 carried the zero over. $840. They got you in on another $840, not including any games that they make money off, not including any accessories. That is how Sony makes their money off. That is how game consoles will always make their money, right? So they can use better hardware. They don't have to be scared of using, like the APU that's in there is a very powerful APU that allows you to use 4K, right? or maybe it's technically 1440p upscaled to 4K, which is still fucking great. That's badass. You're gonna spend $1,000 on a computer that can do that. Maybe even more. Maybe even like 11 to 1200. You're gonna spend that much. They get you in the door by charging you less. You're like, yeah, I have this super console, woo, and then it's inherently limited because it's a console, not a PC. Can't really do a lot of things on it, you know. Doesn't have Discord integration. Can't really properly use a browser. No real keyboard and mouse support. Can't stream straight from it most of the time unless it's a weird interface. Yikes. It's fine though. I do like console. I'm not one of those people who's like a fucking PC elitist now. I just want whatever's best for FGC competition. You know, if the best thing for FGC competition is to move all to PS4 Pros because they're the best, they're the most logistically, they make the most logistical sense, right? They are the cheapest, but have the least controller issues and still the least latency, except for PC. Then move everything to PS4 Pros. Make sure you buy brand new PS4 Pros, keep them cleaned out, dusted, you know, all the whole 9 yards, all of that shit. If some starts to give issues, any player reports it, you replace it on the show floor, boom, you get another one. You know, that's what I want to see. Because if there was ever an instance where a player brings to a TO's attention in a shooting game tournament or a MOBA, right? A major at that, hey, this PC is having frame rate issues. Hey, this PC is this for some reason has more latency than the other ones that my teammates are using. They're gonna replace it on the spot because they want the highest level of competition. If SLC 60 and PS4 didn't come up with absorption schemes for playing online, I would still be playing console today because the play count is so much higher. Are you talking about the fact that you have to pay for online? If you're really salty that you have to pay for online, I'm sorry. I don't even think about it. I don't think about it because of how cheap a console is. I got this PS4 for $150. It was brand new in the box for $150. That's not shit. If I have to pay for PS Plus to play online, so be it. That's fine. Don't play on console. That's like saying, hey, I want to play this certain MMO and it's $5 a month or $10 a month. I guess I just won't play it. Like, it's not something that I think about. There's other expenses. Yes, I don't like it at all. Same reason why I don't play WoW. Sorry. There's you're gonna spend your money on dumber shit. You know what I mean? Like if your hobby causes you to spend $10 a month, that's like no big deal at all. You know, there are people who spend hundreds of dollars a month on Coke. I don't mean Coca-Cola either. You know, so I think spending $10 a month to play video games compared to whatever the fuck you could be spending it on, you know, it's not that bad.